A starter in her second season as a member of the women's soccer team, Katherine Marchesseault demonstrates her skill and love for the game with ease. Yet her journey to playing soccer at Northeastern was anything but certain after a series of events her senior year of high school forever changed her life.
So growing up, I did both gymnastics and soccer very, very seriously. And so I think the beginning of me knowing that I wanted to play in college would start in the beginning of middle school when I decided to pick soccer over gymnastics. I guess from that point forward was when I knew that this is what I wanted to do in the future. I think the biggest thing for me was wanting to be a nursing major. Ash was one of the few coaches in Boston that said I could pursue that and continue my soccer career, so that was a huge piece of it. But I also really loved that Northeastern had a campus, but you also had the city right at your fingertips, so you kind of got the best of both worlds all at the same time.
Kat's recruiting process at the time, everything started a little young. She played for a really good friend of mine that I coached with at the Breakers up in the North Shore, and he had reached out and mentioned that he had she played as a forward at the time that he thought, could really make an impact at a mid-major Division I level like ours. She wasn't only athletically gifted, but she was very tactically and technically talented, and I think the older she got, the more we saw that.
I remember that I had just gone to practice like a normal day, and then me and a couple of my friends wanted to head out to dinner. And then on our way back, the driver just got a little bit ahead of herself. The weather was super awesome, music was blaring, windows were down, classic high schoolers, and she just started picking up speed, and we tried to tell her to stop, but there wasn't really much stopping her at the time, and so we ended up coming in contact with both a boulder and a tree. And when I had woken up, I had been kind of folded underneath the airbags, so I could smell smoke, and I was coughing a lot, so I knew that I had to get out. So I kind of kicked at the door a little bit just to get it open enough that I could just kind of slide through. And I could see another car coming down the road, and so I kind of just started waving my arms on the ground, hoping that he would see me, and the guy did. And so he helped kind of walk me to his car. We were probably 10 feet, 15 feet from the car or so, and that's kind of when it went up.
I was at a dinner and Andy was away. I got the phone call and the call dropped right after the police officer said, "Katherine's been in an accident. She's here with me. She gave me your phone number," and then the phone cut out. I remember just everything draining out of me. I was just not even really knowing how I was talking and functioning.
I was transferred to 3 hospitals, and at the third one was finally when my doctor, Sheridan, had come over, and he was like, "We're gonna have to do an emergency fasciotomy to save your leg from amputation." And I just remember at the time thinking, how am I gonna call Ashley, and how am I gonna explain this, and what's gonna happen? Am I still gonna be able to go to the school? What does my future look like? And then luckily I came out and the surgery was successful, and I kept moving forward with my other burn injuries and skin grafts and working to heal some broken bones, and here I am.
Katherine had suffered a very deep burn to her leg, and the muscles were damaged, and damaged muscle swells. She had the physical findings of somebody who was developing a compartment syndrome, and the only treatment for that to salvage the limb is to release the compartments so that the muscles can swell without constraint and still have their blood supply. So that was the procedure that we did that night.
I think Kat stayed really positive for such a unique challenge at such a young age that I think it just was a true test of the kind of kid she is and what we had hoped in the recruiting process. We saw that as an athlete, but sometimes you don't see those people shine in those moments until something really unfortunate happens. And I think something that as a coach and as her teammates, people really respect about her is she really does get back up and keep going.
People like Katherine are fun to take care of because they really want to get better, and they're very healthy and strong at baseline. And she really, I think, exceeded all expectations in that regard. And that, as it turns out, she was a very good, talented athlete already, and in wonderful condition, and extremely well motivated, and not afraid of hard work. And that made a huge difference. And her recovery was remarkable.
So I was told that it was going to take a very long time for me to come back, but I was super fortunate that I was able to kind of get back a lot faster than that, and I was able to play in my last game of my junior year, which ended up being my last high school game because of COVID. And I scored 2 goals, which was awesome. And one of my occupational therapist came to my game and all my family and friends came, and I think that was when I knew, like, okay, this accident truly didn't defy who I was, and this is when I kind of realized, okay, now I just have to keep pushing because I know I can make it.
And Katherine's here with us this morning, sophomore at Northeastern, playing soccer. Congratulations, we're so glad you're okay. And we're so grateful for all of the supporters of Shriners who are with us this morning. Cheers to Shriners and the work that you guys do.
We all are extremely grateful to the care that she got at Shriners and beyond, you know. They're just an amazing organization. I cannot say enough about them. As Katherine has stepped into this, you know, national ambassador role, has been incredible to watch. Just how dedicated they are to helping others. It's just an unbelievable act of love, really.
She's shared that it's a lot and she's taking on a big responsibility, but she truly wants to share her message. I'm sure there was a day Kat thought, I'm never going to be able to play soccer again. And to overcome that again at 17 years old and fight through the voices telling you it's not possible, or even some people probably telling her it's not possible, and overcome that is something that every little boy or girl that goes through a difficult situation can grow from.
It's just amazing to be able to go up there and tell my story, but also know that what I'm doing has a purpose and that other people before me did this so I could have the treatment that I had. So now I can do this so that other kids in the future can have that same treatment.